Good morning, this is Mr. Kramer. This session is going to be on the new gradebook, the gradebook that you will be expected to use next year. What I'm going to show you today and what you'll have access to and you'll be able to play around with on Monday, I believe it's the 12th of May, is just kind of a sandbox to be able to go in, play with it, and really come up with an understanding. If you already use nGrade, a lot of the features are exactly the same, so that will be very easy for you to make this transition. If you currently use Easy Grade Pro or a paper gradebook or whatever it is that you're using currently, the expectation in Baltimore County next year is that all teachers will use this system because it will give parents and students immediate access to gradebook and also behavior data if you want to put behavior data in as well. So all right, let's get started. If you go up into your browser here, you're going to want to put in ngradepro.com/BCPS. And like the other video showed you, this is the sign-in page for BCPSOne. When you get your device next week, it'll actually have this embedded into the image on the computer. So you'll be able to go directly to this without having to go through ngradepro.com/BCPS. You won't have to do that with your new device. It'll be automatically embedded in. I'm going to use Miss Washington, who was kind enough to give me her username. I'm not a teacher of record, so I don't actually have access to it the same way that you guys do. So when you log in, you can actually come here and you can change that. But what you see is you see all of your current classes. So when I click on this class, you'll be able to see Miss Washington students that are in that class. So let's go into this class. When you log in, let me go back. When you log in, you can actually customize what they call your landing pad to show you exactly what you want. What you're going to see as a teacher is going to be different from what your department chairs see, different from what AP see, and different from what the principals will see. There's a lot of common sharing so that principals and APs and chairs have access to stuff so that if you're gone for an extended period of time, we actually can get access to your gradebook to help in terms of grade input and that kind of stuff. So if you click on one, I'm going to go back down here, and you look at the gradebook. It's very similar to the nGrade program that some of you are using now. To add an assignment, you simply add new assignment. You type it in, test number 1, points possible 100, the day you're going to give it. When you click more options, it's going to give you can set standards to it. So let's say it's Common Core. If you wanted to tag standards, you can do that. You can give yourself a description. You can attach a file. So if you want to attach the actual test so that your students can go back over it at home, you can do that. Also, this is a nice feature. You can actually copy to other classes here. So if you're giving the same test to 4 classes, let's say you teach 2 GT and 4 standard, you can attach it to all 4 standard classes by simply just clicking, and it'll add those classes. You can see then if you make a mistake, you can actually take those off. You can allow students to see the assignment. You can add this assignment to the class calendar, which is nice for students because they'll be able to see that from home access, or if you're using computers in the classroom. You can have a class discussion about it, and you can also have it turn-ins if you want them to turn it in. From that point on, you can save it. You can actually enter student data here. So let's say the student got an 85. All you have to do is say enter 95, enter 76, enter, and it just takes you down. Personally, I like to save the assignment and then go back into the gradebook view and put it in that way. But that's just kind of up to you. And one of the things that you can see is, let me And one of the things you're going to notice is this: students don't have access to this, so all of these grades that I'm putting in are just arbitrary, just for the sake of showing you what it's going to look like when you're done. And what I'll actually do is I'm going to pause the video right now, and I'm going to enter in a few more grades so that you can see what it'll look like when it's more complete. So I'll be right back. Alright, so you can see now I actually entered a couple grades. You can see that they actually scroll. So this is the oldest assignment, this is the newest assignment. In your settings, you can kind of change some of that for yourself, whatever you see is kind of the way that you want it to be set up. So some of the ways that you can do that is, sorry, wrong one. Let me go back to that class. Settings, go to grade settings, and you can mess with some of this stuff the same way that you want to set up your scale. Use a BCPS K-3 scale or K-12 scale. It automatically sets it up. We know that Baltimore County has that set way of the point percentage for homework, so you can kind of set that up the way that you see best fit in terms of test, quiz, homework, classwork. You can weight those. Weight assignment categories, you hit yes, and then you can determine what you want. So homework, test, quiz, classwork, how you see there. How you want students to be sorted, how you want assignments to be sorted, collected, entered, however you want that. Percentages, show percentages, yes. Custom column, you can set that up if you want. So that's just kind of like the basic grade entering for it. One of the other things that you can do is you can create lessons in here. And not everything has been put in place yet. So actually I'm going to go to next week for Miss Washington here. So let's say she's planning, and here we are, we're looking at next week. So we want this assignment to be for all students. You can actually categorize students, class, grade, assignment, their MAP scores. So those are kind of cool. You can actually get access to that. So let's say we want to base it on MAP reading scores, and all of a sudden we start to see the list of the score. So you can actually assign assignments based on MAP scores. So that's something that's new to us, and we're going to have to get used to that as we go forward, but it is kind of cool that you're going to be able to do that. And that'll actually be something I think that will be a little bit more applicable once students get devices. And remember, they don't get their devices for 2 years, so we get to play around with this sandbox for 2 years to where we can really be prepared once the students get their devices. So now I'm going to choose activities. Internet's running a little bit slow on us here. So you can see there's a number of different things that they've already had added onto here. You can add instructions, so things that you want to type in. You can add links. So let's say you wanted them to go to, I think you guys are doing some Shakespeare stuff right now, so you wanted to go into Shakespeare. You click that, take them to a website. Files that you already have, you can drag and drop into there. You can add assignments. There's Brain Pop, Discovery Ed Plus, NBC Learn. So let's say I wanted to go into Discovery Ed. Maybe. There we go. And you can see there's a number of different things that you can look through for Discovery Ed. The humanities in Baltimore County spent a great deal of money looking for resources and trying to find things that would best fit what we're trying to do in our classrooms right now. Let's say you wanted to talk about, I saw baseball, and you guys know I'm a baseball guy. So here's wood bat. So I add that item, and now that'll be a part of my lesson plan. It is part of it. You also notice down here it says number of views, copy, edit, drop. So this is the number of times that your students have watched the video, so it's kind of cool that you can do that. So I want to add another activity. I want it to go to all students again. And this is something that you'll be able to play with. Now let's say we want to base it on standards instead. So if I'm looking Common Core and I want to go reading informational, and I want to go key idea, and I want to use these 3 standards. Now when I hit submit, it's going to give me a list of things that are already in place that I can actually do, the videos that fit that. And once they've downloaded the curriculums in and you have the digital curriculums, there will actually be even more resources that are appropriate for that. So let's say I wanted to bring in Jimmy Carter's book on Palestine. Okay, not that baseball and Palestine have that much to do with each other, but I click add item, and now that's there as well. Now, you might not want to use those videos. Those are just things that I'm putting in there just to kind of give you an idea or an example. Let's say instead you wanted to go out and you wanted to find, or you already have an article that you want them to read. So in your plan, you can choose a file of your own. I'm going to my Dropbox here. I know this doesn't have anything to do with what Ms. Washington teaches, but here's Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Those are the teaching suggestions. Let me go into the resources here. And I wanted them to see this document. Say I also wanted to add the detecting bias to that. Now when I upload these files, those files automatically show on there. And when students have their devices, they'll be able to then shoot that. You'll be able to shoot that out to them during certain parts of the lesson to where they can read it on there. Or if you wanted to make copies still, that is always an option as well. But remember, we want to try, once the kids have the devices, to go as digital as possible. And so now, even as a teacher, if I'm going through this and this is something I want my students to watch, I can simply have that keyed up to play, and I can approve it and play it. So you'll notice that right now some of those authorizations aren't in place. That's just because, again, it's a sandbox and not everything is available to us yet. So it's you can just kind of play around with it. You can also do course maps where you can actually show your students kind of long-term plan. You can create a calendar for your students to where they can see where you're going in terms of the whole school year, or if you want to release months at a time. So you can see I've entered those grades there. These are the activities for next Monday. For attendance, when you click on attendance, you can see the absent, present, tardy. You can also do that based on the seating chart. Let me see if I can find that, seating plus. And so you can arrange this how you want it. And then in here, let's say present, present. Let's just mark all present first. Okay, so I confirmed that this kid is absent, this kid was tardy. Okay, so you'll be able to do attendance in there, either your period attendance. Eventually stars and this will match together to where when I do attendance on this, stars will automatically take place. Eventually, we're also going to have the swipe system to where students will literally be able to come in, swipe their card, or tap their card, and they'll be able to go in and their attendance is already done for you. You don't even have to take attendance. You just have to, what they call, reconcile the attendance. You can go to your actual lesson plan. I'm going to leave this page. Create a lesson plan, and you can go through and you can actually share these with people if you wanted to. Let's see, 6th grade. Max would be 7th grade subject. English language arts, new lesson plan. Submit it, and you can actually do your lesson plan based on here. I didn't fill any of that out. So basically, this was kind of a brief overview of what it can do in terms of just a gradebook. It is something that you're going to use. They want you to use just the gradebook feature next year, but if you wanted to use some of the other features next year in terms of the lesson planning, those kinds of things, it is available for you to use. There are also some chat features and that kind of stuff. You can send messages to students. You can, let's see if I can go into there real quick. So you can see compose. And when you go to compose, you can actually send it to the student's account. And if you have emails, that kind of stuff, you can send it out to there as well. You can attach documents. So like I can attach these two because these are the two that I filed. Send the students a message, hit send, and it goes to them. You'll also be able to get messages that way. I've asked questions in terms of student email, that kind of stuff, and they said that there's not going to be student email because of the way that the messaging system works within the gradebook. So on Monday, you're going to have a chance to play with this. You're also going to have a chance to play with some of the vocabulary. So I hope that you found this video helpful, and have a good weekend.